My name's Rick Knowles. I am the Chief Technology Officer of Cognitant Group, who are based in Wheatley in Oxford. It's pretty much all the engineering work is under my remit.
Why did you decide on a career in technology?
I trained originally as an electrical engineer, and that had always been kind of the passion when I was a child. When I was sort of 8, 9 years old, it was always sort of playing with microcontrollers and Commodore 64s and things like that. During electrical engineering course, I sort of realized that computing was going to be a bigger thing than electronics ever was in my mind. So I switched over to more computer science focused, and that was really where I sort of found the sweet spot for myself.
What are you doing on a day-to-day basis, and what excites you about your current role?
What the company does is we produce healthcare information in sort of very interactive formats and try to make it as engaging as possible for patients, but then also trying to make it as easy as possible for doctors to give it to those patients because doctors are very time constrained, and so we're trying to solve that problem as well. And that translates to having a couple of different teams, one of them being the one that makes kind of very game-style interactivity based health information. So it's, as a software person, that means becoming a game developer of sorts. So I kind of coordinate and technically support a team that does that. Most of those people are artistic rather than technical per se, but it's a very technical job by nature. The other side is the software platform, which is a very sort of traditional web development style role, and I sort of help with the architecture. And the things that I do single-handedly is mostly the infrastructure side. So it's kind of the AWS cloud hosting and DevOps type things, but then also the data protection side of things. So I'm the data protection officer, so I need to be across all the legals of how we store data, etc.
So what has been the biggest challenge in your career to date?
At a personal level, it's been trying to work with other people in a way that I don't become a bottleneck. Because technology is one of those things where passionate people get very passionate about things being done the right way or being done in a way that allows for flexibility. And building a team around you that thinks the same way you do about key things is really important. And so it's taken me a while to learn to identify the things in the people that I work with that make them great to work with. Do they have a mind for the future, etc.? And so trying to hire for that particular trait, but also just being able to design for the long term in a group situation has been a big learning thing. The other one that I'd answer for that is being a bit more multi-purposed. So as an engineer, you tend to get very tunnel visioned on perfect or 100% solutions, or dealing with edge cases and things like that. And when trying to deal with commercial situations, you can't do that. The perfect is definitely the enemy of good in those scenarios.
What has been your biggest achievement to date?
I had a need at the start of launching this particular company to be able to build a VR-based, an Oculus-based VR game with never having done it before in a week, and being able to code in a brand new language, work out all of the kinks of the headset, etc. In terms of actually recognized achievements, a very long time ago, about 20 years ago now, built a very small, deliberately small enough that you could run it on a phone, web server. And that was then picked up and included inside of the Jenkins project, which you may have heard of. 3 weeks later, I kind of had a fully working web server, which then got picked up by one of the guys from Sun who noticed it and went, I'm going to roll that into what was Hudson in those days. And so that was kind of a cool thing, watching it get downloaded 1 million times and those sorts of things was kind of cool. Going for job interviews and finding that people knew who your name was because they'd seen it on their screens when they were running Jenkins.
What new technology are you most excited about?
The one that really I find exciting is not a technical thing, but rather the field of AI ethics. Is this AI being used in a way that is scientifically provable? As in, like, is somebody checking that the AI or the machine learning models are doing what they're supposed to be doing? It's important to think about the ethics aspect of what you're doing when you model something this way.
What changes do you envision in your sector in the next 5 years?
COVID had a massive impact on how health is delivered, or healthcare is delivered in the UK. Initially, it went very video call-ish. We're talking to your GP. It was all telehealth. Everybody wanted video conferencing because they were all in lockdown. I think it's rather quickly changed now to being more a kind of online automations rather than being like so much face-to-face or video calls, because I think GPs in particular are so time pressured that for them, spending that time on a video call is still time spent. They would rather do it in a fairly offline way in a lot of cases. So what you end up with is sort of automated triage workflows and things become very, very popular because they allow the doctor to do that sort of thing without having like in batches or in an offline kind of fashion, which is very attractive for them. So I think the automations that allow that are going to be huge.
If you could give one piece of advice to future technology leaders, what would it be?
Don't neglect time as a dimension within the solution space of any problem that you're looking at. And what I mean by that is things change in the background. And as an engineer, you're quite often used to looking at what's going on now as it is. Be more than the job requires. The people who come up with the best answers are often the ones who are drawing from outside of the skill set that's required for the project. It often comes in a kind of left field ideas that come from somewhere completely other.